throughout the regular season. So a lot of spotlight going to be on Colorado this year to see if they can keep up that high performance. Hawaii, on the other hand, they were a team that last year, they were the wild card, really. They were the very last team to sneak into the national bracket. They were the 10th seed, and they had to play against, I believe it was St. Peter's in the opening round of that bracket. So we'll see if Hawaii can live up to that expectation of being a playoff team again this year.
Yeah, and I got high hopes for them. I mean, they are going up against some real powerhouses. Like University of Colorado, when we asked them about their lineup, they were more than happy to go ahead and flex their players like Katsuji, who has some amazing ranked wins. All of their players apparently have PGR wins, so that's something. So, University of Hawaii, well, they're taking them on in a Pokemon trainer duel. Okay. Come on, BPS2. BPS2, yeah!
Of course it was. And yeah, so Pokemon Trainer, I said this a lot last year, but Pokemon Trainer is one of the characters I'm always interested to see because I feel like every Pokemon Trainer plays this character differently, right? Some people, their Squirtle is their most proficient. Some people, it's the Ivysaur. For others, it's the Charizard. And so I'm very curious to see between these two, which of those three is their most proficient character.
Right away with the low percent combos, it's going to be Tempest. Just needing so much damage. Slatty is really just knocking them around, forcing them onto the Ivysaur to maybe get a better chance of recovering with that tether. They get the Nair into the dash attack, but hey, look, another Ivysaur. Following them straight down the line.
And Slatty was one of the players from last year's roster who had their ups and downs. They had moments where they were able to get some big wins and others where they went up against high-tiered opponents like the anchors of Mississippi State and other teams of that nature. So it's going to be important for Slatty here to get up to a big start, and he does with that Vine Whip.
Finally finishing them off, and now struggling for a second to get off ledge until they get the reversal with the Nair, and now it's Tempest who's in a real struggle situation above Ivysaur. Oh, almost died off of that one hit. Now they avoid that spike, and they're able to get back to stage, but they're not facing the right way with their up B, and they are going to fall. Unfortunate SG right there, and now there's a bit more of a chance going up against Tempest, but still. In these Squirtle duels, it does not look like Tempest has the edge. Not in the slightest.
Yeah, and Slatty here on an early percent here, trying to find a way to get an earlier kill on this Squirtle, and he does hit back into the stage, and now Tempest on his last stock.
Yep, the Tempest stuck in the Ivysaur as well. I don't really think it matters, as every time they try and get in and brawl with the Squirtle, it felt like they would almost immediately get whiff punished. So at least now they have a few more neutral tools that don't involve getting too close to Slatty. But still, guess who also has those tools? It's Slatty going right over to the Ivysaur as well to try and finish this off. Oh, getting the up B stage spike right there. It was a bit of an awkward hitbox. I don't think Takashi was ready for it, but either way, Slatty taking an early lead in this set.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. That was an awkward stage spike, and one I don't think Tempest was ready for. But either way, Slatty off to a big start, and that's a good sign for Colorado. 2 points early on the board, and it looks like he knows this matchup pretty well. I mean, obviously they have the same tools, but like you said, I think that Squirtle play was just something else to watch, right? You just, like you said, punishing every whiff, and then on top of that, even on Ivysaur, we didn't see a lot of Charizard throughout that set, but even the interactions between the Ivysaur play, I felt like Slatty just had a little bit better idea of what he wanted to do when Ivysaur was on the field.
Yeah, Slatty, I can't get over the Squirtle performance. I hate to jump back to it like that, but the amount of times it was almost 0 to 80. Like, not
Mhm.
just the combo, but in the fact that he was not touched by the other Squirtle. They had the same tools and they'd run in with the same moves, but it felt like they would commit and then Slatty would punish them. Which sounds really basic on paper, but when you're working with the exact same tools, it's a lot more impressive that you're winning neutral that many times in a row.
Yeah, and to do it repeatedly, time and time and time again, is something, obviously that sticks out in that matchup. It is worth noting because it just skyrocketed Slatty's lead. Right, the second he had that percent lead, you could tell Tempest was just at a deficit, and he felt like he was in a deficit the entire time. Right, even after Slatty's unfortunate SD that first stock, right, it felt like Tempest was still kind of scraping, trying to fish for a way back into that match to take the lead back, and he just couldn't find it.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think there should be any switches, obviously, but when you get demolished with your own character, it's tempting to switch. It's tempting to just get off the Ditto so it doesn't feel like you're being purely outplayed that many times in a row. But if you're able to use it as a learning opportunity and figure out where you went wrong, figure out where the counterplay is, and of course, talk to your coach, who is, again, having a coach is such a big asset, especially in these neutral-based scenarios. I have faith in them bringing it back just a little bit.
Yeah, and I think it really starts with that Squirtle Ditto one more time, because the way that first match played out, that Squirtle difference was the key. So if he can mitigate that Squirtle, force him to use something like the Ivysaur, which he might not be as proficient on, or the Charizard, which we really didn't see throughout that match. Maybe Charizard is the key to change the momentum of this set, but we have to see here as we go to Battlefield for Game 2.
Now, a bit more of a brawl, scrappy situation, but Tempest does end up eating most of the damage in the end. Oh, that's a very punishable up B right there from Slatty, but they only get one up air out of it. But this is a much better start to the duel than the first game.
Yeah, and Tempest, you can tell right off the bat. Oh, but Slatty going deep! Oh, dipped too far!
Oh, the Ivysaur extension with the up B was so nice, but then you don't have that long tether recovery to get back, so you got to rely on Charizard's jumps, and you can't quite make it. Now, I mean, even game once again with Slatty actually going down a little bit. Tempest able to keep them above them as Ivysaur, and the Nair is such good shield pressure as well. Slatty not quite shielding through all of it. Dash Tech gonna set them up for a little something nice, but can't quite complete it yet. Eventually, it's an even game once again, both of them on Ivysaur.
Yeah, and I think Tempest right now, I think he's really going to thrive off of this Ivysaur. If he's going to find a way back into this game, the Squirtle could not get too much done, but oh no, that tether not connecting properly, and so Tempest able to get back using Charizard.
Yeah, that was scary. Can't like to see that, but Midori Tempest, fastest up smash out of shield right there. I can't believe Charizard has that tool. It doesn't look like it makes sense, but hey, who am I to design a game? At the ledge here, you can see Slatty going for it again and again and again, but Tempest is adamant to hold on to this lead.
That up smash is going to get punished, but this is the key here. Charizard is just so threatening. Great grab, but not going to be able to take the stock quite yet. And this is really the most Charizard we've seen from Slatty. Does he get the kill on the top platform? No. Tempest surviving.
All the way out, and the tether recovery pretty much unpunishable at that position. And it's just chip damage, which is a good excuse. And there's the up smash again. You can't be landing anywhere near Charizard. But now we're back to Squirtle with a slight advantage going to Tempest. But all it takes is one interaction, just like this. Down throw into the down air. Slatty is on a roll. instantly making up the deficit that they had.
Yeah, and now that it's a Squirtle Ditto, excuse me, Tempest finds himself at a little bit of a deficit here, and that up smash, not going to be able to take the stock quite yet. Here comes Tempest's Ivysaur. This has done a lot of work throughout the match, but he's going to have to find a way to claw his way back into this one, and already at a percent deficit. They both grab ledge. Good nair to get away.
Yeah, very good nair indeed. Now, gonna get back throw to send Tempest off stage. They had that lead, but they can't quite get back. They get back to stage, but they get spiked. Now they're above. They get away from the up air with the switch, but now you're set up for another tech situation, and you don't quite get away from that one scot-free. It will be Slatty, finishing what they started with a 2-0. It was close. Definitely some improvement there, but not quite enough to instantly surmount Slatty.
Yeah, Slatty, I mean, did a very good job throughout this matchup. From stock one, the ability to go out there, clean up that stock, it was at the cost of his own, but it really sent a message saying, hey, I'm here to play, I'm here to win. And while it may only be a one stock victory, like you said, the adaptation was there to keep it close, but just one too many mistakes from Tempest put him over the edge. And again, I think it comes down to that neutral play between Squirtle and Charizard. Slatty just felt like between those two, he had the mid game figured out. Ivysaur, I feel like that was Tempest's character. I feel like he was the most proficient and got the most work done when he was on Ivysaur, but the other two characters is when he lost the battle the most.
Yeah, definitely did. The Ivysaur, I liked his use of Razor Leaf to steadily and safely take stage away. But you can take all the stage you want, because when you get hit, you lose it all over again because you're off stage again. It was a real give and take that it took so long to build an advantage, and it was snatched away so fast through so many different options. Whether it be the randomly up smashing Charizard again and again and again, or just getting out neutral on Squirtle. Like, I really can't say it any other way, because the strings weren't more than 30% each. It was just he kept leading into more of them.
And on top of that too, you were talking about how he was able to work his way back into stage control. It's like you said, stage control is good, but if you don't utilize that, then you can lose it very quickly, like you saw. And even though Tempest was able to gain back that stage control, again, if it gets just knocked away in one hit, you're not using it properly. You got to use that stage control to push them to the outskirts and force them to make an error. And that's something Tempest couldn't really do because he was overextending himself.
And now, with the next match coming in, a chance for University of Hawaii to get back into this, but again, we haven't seen the depths of the Colorado roster yet. I think Colorado, again, it's the first week. There's a lot of pressure on everyone. And as much as you want to make an upset, these good teams do not want to get upset and start off on the wrong foot and be moping through the rest of the season. This is where you set your mentality. And University of Colorado can't afford to let anything slip.
Yeah, University of Colorado, they were a team last year that they had so much potential and so much talent that there is a spotlight on them that will be on them through most of the season too, especially in the conference that they are in. It is a stacked Central Conference, by the way. If you look across the board of all the teams in this division, 3 of the top 5 are in this conference. So every single game will matter. And by the way, 3 of the top 5, 2 of them are DePaul and Mississippi State. Colorado is that third member. And then if you want to go even farther than that, Hawaii makes 4 playoff teams of 6 teams in this division. So every single game is important. And Colorado, like you said, they don't want to start off on the wrong foot and put themselves in a hole early. They're taking the lead here 5-0, and we'll see what they do here in the second set.
Yeah, I can't claim to know exactly what Hawaii has up their sleeve. Again, we know they are a good upset team. They've gotten wins over the likes of Marist, which we saw earlier. But I don't know. It feels very close, but no cigar. You know what I mean? So like it's
Yeah.
it feels just in reach, but not actually. Like there were some, like the game we just watched between St. Joseph's, St. John's and William Mary. That felt doable. It felt with a little bit of improvement that could have been done. This feels doable, maybe if they rematch, you know? But hey, change my mind right here, right now. Unless you're going up against Katsuji, maybe. Oh, I feel bad for Volt.
Well, Katsuji, I don't think there was a time last year that I personally casted him and he didn't go Luigi, so I'm very curious. I have not seen the Sheik gameplay, and Volt, new to the scene, going with Link here. An interesting pick. We don't see a lot of Links. I think there's only one or maybe two others in the EGF.
Yep. The Sheik right here, I feel like it's a... My friend always says that when you pick Sheik, it's a spirit pick. Like, you just want the ability to do anything you want in neutral, even if it isn't going to get you the biggest reward. And when you're just up against the University of Hawaii, going up against Dark Wampa, against the Link, you want the options to do whatever. I feel like Luigi would not appreciate the wall that is Link, but hey, maybe you need that wall. Maybe you need something to break through that wall. It's a little stronger than what Sheik is dishing out.
Yeah, that was a strong combo to finish it off. And you'll see a lot of Links go for that. Set up that bomb at the ledge, and then use the up smash to cover the rest of the options from ledge. So great recognition there by Wampa, as that was a good string to get Link off stage. But I feel like this is going to be the struggle here. Katsuji has to find a way to clean up the stock, and Link just has so much raw kill potential with that sword, like a straightforward air, cleaning up the second stock.
Who is Darth Wampa? That's my question for you, Soy. Because I've never heard of them before, and no offense to them, but this is unprecedented. I mean, Katsuji has been known to be upset in the past. Like, I'm not saying this completely out of the question, but this isn't just an upset. This isn't a close last hit scenario that they choose the wrong neutral option. They got read like a book like 6 times in a row. And honestly, it's just bread and butters. That's been my word of the night, to be honest, Soy. Just get the guaranteed damage, get the 30%, and then find the kill. Stay chill, get the kill. That has been Darth Wampa's game plan, and it's been working out pretty well.
And it also helps, too, that Katsuji, this character thrives on going in and getting damage on your opponent, and Link can play that kind of defensive play style if need be. So Darth Wampa really doing a good job of keeping Katsuji out and not allowing for those classic Sheik combos.
Sure, because now, running with the down tilt, not going to be able to get the punish quite yet. But that might have been an option, but missed. Completely underestimated the spacing right there, and Katsuji actually does go down. 2 stocks right there, and that's 2 points on the board for the University of Hawaii.
Yeah, and a big 2 points too, because as we mentioned, Katsuji is one of the heavy hitters for this Colorado roster. They have been so consistent, at least throughout Season 2. So for them to fall here would be a huge sign. Now, Darth Wampa, new to the scene. We don't recognize the name from last year on this Hawaii roster, but clearly showing his proficiency here in this Link. Very well played throughout that entire first game.
For sure. And I liked how it was a lot of baits. It was a lot of, hey, you think you can punish this? Wrong. But it wasn't all that. There was a lot of use of Link's, frankly, spectacular nair. I mean, that's no new news to anyone. But in addition to that, you use the nair to link up into an up tilt, and then you follow Katsuji while they're in disadvantage above you. And Bouncing Fish, not quite as good as Flip Kick. So you're able to get punishes and extend them. Even though it's not true, you're just putting Katsuji in a bad situation, forcing them to choose an option, and then following the option. I mean, that's just good Smash Brothers. Like, I can't criticize it at all.
Yeah, it was very well played. And so for game 2 here, you have to wonder what's going through Katsuji's mind here. Is, like you said, Luigi might not be that much easier or harder of a matchup in this case, and that Sheik, while it looked good at times, it did not look good for this matchup.
Yeah, I think maybe. I'm not saying Katsuji is losing neutral completely, but they're just getting less out of their neutral wins than the Link was. With Sheik, you've got to convert those neutral wins into all of your good buttons. You've got to be getting 6 fairs in your combo, not just 3 hits. If you're going to be getting 3 hits, you might as well be playing any other neutral, like play some Diddy Kong or something. But Katsuji wants to make this work, getting the Legend of Zelda matchup happening. And so we're able to see how they're able to adapt going into this second game.
Going to Town and City here, and I think I like this a lot more for Katsuji because it gives him a little bit extra space to work with. He's still got the occasional platform that he might be able to extend the combo off of, and it gives him more time, really, I think, to plan his approaches.
Now Darth Wampa going to be caught off stage, but again, just a single hit, little taps and tippy toes from Katsuji, which just isn't enough. It's nice. It's good tapped on damage. And I'm not saying even she can't kill, I'm just saying Katsuji isn't converting those amazing options that she has into each other. It's just single trades. And when your opponent does so much more damage than you do with every interaction, well, again, pick a different character. But
yeah,
it can make this work.
No, it's entirely possible for Katsuji to turn this around, but it's like you said, when you're not getting the full extension of your combo, you're not getting all that percent that Sheik really needs to get those kills, because once you start landing those kill moves, if they're not at the percent that you can kill them at, then it's just kind of a nigh interaction. They'll be able to get away from it and reset. But that was a clean drag down into that down smash, so Katsuji able to take the first stock is a good sign for Colorado.
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out, have you noticed how Darth Wampa is angling their shield after they got shield poked once at the beginning of their game? Like, that's a level of awareness you don't usually see from this level of play, and I really love the defense Darth Wampa is putting on. But now they're under pressure, and even though they do get, like I said, the bread and butter, nair into up tilt, it's not safe at this percent. And now you're under threat, constant threat of Katsuji, who has you above them now.
Yeah, you can tell Darth Wampa, he's searching for a way back into this. One, back onto stage, and 2, back into this game, because he's at kill percent. That side B will actually clean up the stock. And so Katsuji, after struggling game 1, finds himself at a near full stock advantage in game 2.
Yeah, and this is, ooh, I like that option right there. I really do. But when it comes down to it, that really isn't going to happen all the time. But ooh, that was a very nice little string right there, trying to get the shield pressure into something more. But again, it feels like Katsuji misplaces one thing, they get caught by the up tilt. Still very even though.
Yeah, percent's just about even, and I feel like Darth Wampa, he's about to set up camp with these projectiles, threw them all out there. Katsuji got hit by a couple, and now he's back into a corner off stage, is able to get back, eats the up air. Does he find a way back? Oh no, not against that forward tilt though. Darth Wampa
Ooh.
winning 2-0 in the set.
Tying up against University of Colorado. Why did I call this so soon? Darth Wampa came out of nowhere, and maybe that was a counter pick against specifically Katsuji. I mean, we had seen that they had ranked players in Hawaii on their team, and maybe Hawaii is a stronger region than people give it credit for. But yeah, Katsuji definitely getting read a little bit more than they would have wanted, and I felt like they thought they had that in the bag. They were playing with confidence. They were playing with pizzazz, with panache. And then it was over. And that end, it hurts.
Absolutely. But credit where credit's due, Darth Wampa played that very well. I mean, even playing down nearly a full stock, he was able to bring that back just off of one offstage interaction. But that's something for Katsuji to kind of take back and learn from, right? He's got to be able to hold on to those stocks a little bit longer if he is going to be able to, be at the peak that he was at last year. So, and the other thing to note too is that Hawaii, we look at the names coming up for the rest of this roster, and not a lot of them were on the team last year. So this is a mostly fresh new Hawaiian team joining the EGF, and against a Colorado team with a lot of high expectations on them. Week one, it feels like Hawaii's hitting it in stride here.
If there's one thing I gotta commend Hawaii on, it is their coach preparing them for first week jitters, because I experienced none of that from watching Darth Wampa play. It was cool, calm, and collected. It wasn't explosive, but it was a solid win, and that's not something you can say you get time and time again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was just what Hawaii needed to get back into this matchup. And, it really did. I think you were right. Katsuji, throughout that match, he found a few more hits in his combo, right? He found a few more extensions, and that's exactly what Sheik needed. The problem was, there are some characters that just thrive because of the raw kill power, like the heavies that we see, right? The Bowsers have a lot of success because they've got so many kill options. And I feel like Link you could put in that category of characters where they've got so many good, strong hits that while they might, be in disadvantage, when they are in disadvantage, if it's neutral, if they land a straight hit, it could just kill, especially against a lighter character like Sheik.
That dash attack at the end there, oh man, that hurt. And again, a good use of the Nair to set up into those kill moves, or not even just kill. Like, we saw a lot of the time they would go for the kill moves at low percents, and it wouldn't kill, but it'd put Katsuji in disadvantage, set them up to get speared by an up air or something like that. So overall, very, very nice stuff coming up from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we get towards game 3 here, this is again, we use this term a lot, but set number 3, very pivotal in these closer matchups because it puts the pressure on the next few sets, depending on how this one goes. It looks like we've got the players locked in here.
And it literally could not be closer at 5-5. This is the closest match we have yet. Completely unexpectedly, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't want to say we're counting our chickens before we hatch, but we have seedings for a reason. We have 2 previous seasons worth of results for a reason. We look at it to try and figure out what's going to be going on. And so when something unexpected happens, I'll be honest, I wasn't ready for it. And so now they got me at the edge of my seat. So these next 2 players, N and Tia, it's up to them to try and continue this exciting legacy that they're building.
Yeah, and I believe these are 2 new faces to the EGF. So in a very pivotal set, they are opting for the new faces to, be in this pressure cooker of a situation. So we'll have to see. That looks like Robin versus Wii Fit on screen, but we'll have to see. That would be interesting. 3 Wii Fits in one day. I think that's the most the EGF has ever seen.
Yeah, Wii Fit definitely have on the come up as of recently. I don't know. I feel like after seeing some awesome Baroon play at a couple majors, didn't we see Wii Fit versus Robin earlier, or am I completely misremembering? Because if that happened, then
No, I think Robin played against a different character, but we have seen Robin earlier today on Outer Rim, and so this is a very different style of matchup. Oh my goodness, and going low, and Tia able to recover.
Doing just fine, but getting knocked around. Don't even have time to get that deep breathing up, and now you're in definite kill range. You're going in with the rage, with the deep breathing. You could get a 0 to death for sure, but how are you going to get off that ledge with this constant pressure? The magic, the spells, too much to get through, to weave through for Tia.
Ooh, and look at the strings too. Quick few forward airs, and all of a sudden Tia at 36. Levinsword will come offline shortly. There it goes, but up a full stock here, and Tia just struggling to get in.
Bad Robin now. Be caught out just a little bit, but hopping back up right now, and Tia down significantly at this point. A full stop. Ultimately missing that soccer ball just barely, and they jump against that book. Not even sure if that was on purpose. But either way, catching the neutral get up with that. At that point, getting full stops, and it's really terrifying.
Yeah, Tia's got to get something going here. Does find that forward tilt and will get the deep breathing. So there's a start, but really struggling to find a way back to the stage and just chunking so much percent.
Yeah, as now, and playing center stage, and we get the jab there, and just little tap, waiting for their big opportunity to get a hit. They're at the electroshocks, but not going to connect quite yet, as they're able to get the arc fire into arc fire, jumping up, but not quite able to get the kill confirmed, but they do have Tia off ledge, and there it is, the aggressive option punished with a swift swing of the sword.
I'm always 3 steps ahead.
And looking like they're tipping the scales in favor of the University of Colorado.
Yeah, that was fantastic right from the get-go, he was all over that matchup, and you could tell Tia was really struggling. Something I wanted to note, that down smash was so smart too, because it's very deceptive. It feels like, okay, it's just going to cover this low area, right? But no, it pokes up, and we'll see Robbins use that for shield pressure as well, but just well spaced around that soccer ball that we've seen time and time again today by Wii Fit trainers used along that ledge.
Yeah, I feel like in the way that in the recent, I think it was Low Tide City Grand Finals, it felt like MK Leo was, or no, I'm completely misremembering, ignore me, but MK Leo using the banana more than Tweak. That's how it feels like watching these Wii Fit trainers. People using the soccer ball against Wii Fit more than Wii Fit is using it against them. It like taking that opponent's crucial neutral tool and turning it on their head. It's baffling to me how many people get away with it.
No, yeah, absolutely. And it's something that you have to learn if you're going to play this game competitively, that, that soccer ball is a crucial part of the kit for a Wii Fit trainer. So if you don't know how to deal with that utility, then you are going to struggle, and Wii Fits will take advantage of it. And that's something that you can see N is adapting to. He sees that soccer ball, he knows how to deal with it. And I really also got to commend his usage of the charge shot. Like, we saw Outer Rim. Outer Rim didn't tend to fully charge that neutral B. He tended to use just the short bursts of it for quick ranged attacks, but and opting for the full charge and using it brilliantly just to cover so many options and pick up 2 kills.
And now Final Destination is an interesting place right here, looking to rely on pure punish game, and, well, given how N is starting this out, I'm not sure that was the call.
Yeah, I feel like Final Destination is kind of a rich get richer stage because there's no platforms and because it's so hard to catch landings. That was a great tech by Tia to survive that down air. And but still the pressure is on Tia to make something happen here. Only at 38% is N, and he can't stay on that ledge forever. N's ledge trapping is on point.
Now, nice forward smash right there. Get rid of that stock early too. I mean, it's hard to consider 129 early, but Robin, the early kills that this character gets are truly astounding. And I'm saying that with a refit on the screen, so I know. But ooh, and dipping right below the ledge right there as well. Ooh, I was gonna say, I don't think they meant to do that right there. And that's actually gonna be a forfeited stock. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, unfortunate SD there, and the I agree. I don't think they meant to use that book, and the end lag of it just put him too far. Oh, Tia back into the match, run off down air. You love to see it. Now N on his last stock.
Yeah, now he juggled just a little bit. I think N can bring this back considering how dominant they were last time, but without the platforms right now, they are actually, like you said, rich get richer stage. Tia took the advantage and they're keeping it.
That was a big reversal on the down air from N, and now he's got a big challenge ahead of him at 99%. WeFit can find a kill here, possibly. That was a lot of pressure off stage, but now making it back.
Yeah, that was the big 0 to death opportunity we saw, and they just keep getting these hits. Going for the second arc fire, but can't quite catch it. Tia popped out way later than they would have expected. Going for the ledge trump right there, but at this point, it's more or less even considering when they get the kill, but they just lost the Levin sword right there. It's going to be a while before they get those early stock steals.
So much projectile warfare here between the two of them. Great catch on the side B, and N closes it up.
It seems
Oh, that was tugging at my heartstrings right there, Soy. But N eventually managed to close that out, and that is a sigh of relief from the University of Colorado. When it looked like you had it in the bag against White, and then they came out swinging against Kitsuji, and then it looks like they might be turning it around against N, that's when you start getting nervous. But with N able to clutch that out, you give yourself a solid lead going into the latter half of this series. Not impossible. You get one good game and suddenly you're on the equivalent of game 5 with your anchors coming in. But this is a nice start from them.
Yeah, and that was very well played by N there. I mean, just that game was a lot closer, and you could tell Tia was adapting. Saw that Robin was often recovering low, so why not go off stage for that runoff down air and, you know, give yourself that advantage. But at the end of the day, I think N was just far more comfortable with his game plan. I mean, it feels a little bit more straightforward, right? Just land the first projectile or land that side B and then immediately follow up. The game plan feels a lot smoother and well executed for N throughout that set, whereas it felt like once the soccer ball was gone, the game plan was sort of out the window and it was throw something at the wall, see if it works.
I mentioned it briefly earlier, but I genuinely believe that the most important skill in Smash Bros. Is being able to kill your opponent. You can rack up damage, you can win neutral, you can do whatever you want. But if you are not able to take a simple stock without getting a hard neutral win with a smash attack or something, then it's a little scary. So having those kill confirms on lock means that in scramble situations, when you're mashing buttons, you're mashing your kill confirms. You know that if you hit this, they are dead. Whereas you might just be fishing for a strong move as we fit, and that's not the best way to go about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And because of that, N was able to take advantage, right? Once he got that soccer ball out of the way, the match and the way the game flowed changed. I mean, you got to remember going into that last stock, he was down basically 100%. I think he was at 99 or low 90s. Either way, it was a great battle back by N, and it really all turned around with the way that he was able to space out his moves and land those confirms. So now, heading into set number 4, the pressure is on the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii to find a way to get themselves back into this set.
And definitely doable. Even if you get the minimum amount of points, you still set yourself up for a decent last set where you can be clutch, you can win it out for Colorado. But you've got to do the setup here, because if Colorado even gets the minimum amount of points, it could be a heartbreaker.
Yeah, so the pressure is on, and we'll have to see who they send in. It looks like Volt has been locked in for Hawaii, and it looks like he'll be going against AIV. Now, AIV, if I remember correctly from last year, was Colorado's Ike player, and he was fantastic at times. I mean, Ike is a very pivotal character, right, where they have a lot of raw kill power, but their disadvantage can be, well, taken advantage of. And against Cloud, that's a very intriguing matchup.
Battle of the Swordies, a bit more speed, a bit more versatility in the form of Cloud, but I don't know. I feel like they're about even in terms of punish. It comes down to the individual player, so we'll see how to get in that. And I like the use of the limit, making AIV antsy as they try and get in, but they're slowly getting in, just spacing these fairs, just systematically taking space on the stage, one aerial at a time. And that time, they used the much more safe on shield Nair to bait out the up out of shield. Very nice.
Yeah, and that limit is now on deck, and that's something that's going to be in both of these players' minds throughout this set. It is so important to watch what Volt does with this limit, whether he has to use it for recovery or for a projectile like there, but cannot catch AIV's recovery.
Well, they convert the Nair into an up air, so nice percent. If they get a Nair, they might be able to up B now, just take away that stock. That's the thing about Ike. Again, kill confirms. And Cloud got some strong moves, obviously. How are you going to use them to get the kill, though? It's now 123% on them across the stage. Blade Beam. Sure, why not?
Nearly netting that kill, but the Nair, the backwards hit of it, still getting the knock-up and connected into that up air and the run-off down air, because why not? AIV, 2 quick stocks on the board.
Oh. And Volt just running up and staring them down, saying, "Did you just do that to me? Come on, bro. I'm trying to win this." Volt had such a good early start in the neutral, but AIV just took away more and more space. And when you get an opportunity to do something cheeky like that, you gotta take it. Not many players would have done that. AIV, 100%.
And Ike is a character that it's so difficult to do that with. Like, there's so much end lag on that down air that it's not very safe to do, and you can punish it if it is whiffed. So just great job recognizing that he was going to recover low and landing that down air in the first place. Even Volt tried to trade it back with that up B, but now here on the last stock for Volt, nearly limit on deck, charging it back up, and at 71%, he's got his hands full.
Playing carefully around this limit Cloud, but with Volt down a stock, there's not as much pressure to approach the limit. I mean, you can let it wear itself out, let them commit to something like a cross slash, and now you get the punish. But that was actually brilliant spacing from Volt, not letting them get away with that down smash, send them all. AIV caught by the up smash, and now doable for Volt, definitely doable.
And that was a few times that AIV had used that side B recovery to get to the platform rather than the ledge, and that time Volt called it out. That's use of the limit to knock him away and it'll allow Volt to get back to stage, but at 120%, This is still very dangerous.
Yeah, dangerous indeed. As now, Volt on the ledge. Or AIV rather, taking center stage. But that is the surprise back air. I think that might have been attack canceled, but it might have just been a raw either way. Wasn't expecting that meaty hitbox to just burst out of AIV. And because of that Volt, they're making it even. Yeah.
And the other thing, I don't know if you saw it or not, but I think Volt threw out a forward air at that moment. And so the forward air, just the startup of it just wasn't fast enough to compete with that back air. So Volt, he was trying to play aggressive there and got punished for it. So Volt falls, a point on the board for Colorado, and this is danger territory. Now, I believe Volt is, there was a player last year for Hawaii by the name of AA Battery. And I think this is the same Cloud rebranded as Volt. And he was one of the anchors for this Hawaii roster. And so they're sending him in here to try and get them back into this match. And if he were to fall here, Colorado would have a massive lead. And AIV is doing a fantastic job of shutting him down.
Yeah, truly impressive right now. I think, again, like you said, definitely doable. I can't imagine any switch-ups. Yeah, that it felt so close but no cigar if you're on Volt's side, especially when you were down a stock after that, frankly, highway robbery the AIV went through. Yeah. Down throw. Nice consistent combos right here. Keeping Volt in disadvantage. Air dodge into ledge. And getting the roll through, retaking center stage. Volt has been unable to punish the side Bs thus far, besides that one read with the up smash. Hopefully we'll be able to get more of those coming in here, because I feel like AIV hasn't been mixing up the timings as much as they could.
Yeah, and that early limit burn is gonna hurt Volt here. He doesn't have AIV at kill percent, but it could have been a good get off me tool used. Now landing a back air and the up tilt, Volt controlling center stage, and now AIV has to kind of back off.
I like that drift back onto ledge though, protecting yourself while you go for the up tilt and dash attack. You're not quite gonna do it quite yet. Order tried to send them right back where they came from, but the fly swatter doesn't quite hit home. Now there's the limit. AIV might just be able to steal this stock away.
And he does. Dash attack, cleaning it up. That's a surprisingly good dash attack. It has taken so many stocks in the past for AIV, and just calling Volt holding on to that corner of the stage rather than the ledge. And there's a little bit of a mix-up from the side B. Get up from ledge and use it.
Narrowed off air right there. Volt at these low percents is not faring well. Not at all, Soy. Again, there, and up air, and that's gonna kill! Woo. I don't think they were expecting that at all.
That was huge. What a conversion from AIV. And that's the power of Ike. That's what makes this character so threatening. All they need is that nair, and they can just combo it into imagination, really. And all of a sudden, oh, he wanted the suicide stock to end it, but no, won't get it. So AIV, first stock off the board, and Volt a small chance here.
We talk about, like, players coming alive at different points in the game. There's Johnny stocks, there's Game 4 Leo. I think second stock AIV is a thing, because that's just like, I feel like every single time they get on second stock, they just steal away a stock with something that doesn't look true. And then they end up dying in a weird way. And Volt brings it to last hit, last stock.
And I mean, I feel like that also plays to the style of Ike, right? This character can blow you up if you let them, if you misspace something or don't respect the character's kill power. And right now, Volt at 81%. This is still not out of the question, but you can feel with that desperation blade beam that he's hunting for something, and AIV is giving him nothing.
Nothing at all. As now, back here sends AIV off, and I was talking about it. Getting a little too predictable with those side beat timings on the stage. Like, almost a little greedy trying to retake center stage like that, and because of that, that's the second time Volt has punched that with an up smash and gotten the kill.
That's huge too. AIV really hasn't recovered using that up B, especially when he's farther off stage like that, but this could be it. Yeah, no limit on deck, and Volt will fall. So AIV cleaning it up when Colorado needed him the most.
Yeah, Volt with an exceptionally good showing. And making sure that AIV only got the minimum amount of points available. But even that is too much. University of Colorado came out swinging. I feel like Volt had moments where they could have turned that around, but they didn't have their foot all the way on the gas the entire time. It felt like, and I'm not saying AIV did either. I don't know if any player ever does. But AIV just was a little more consistent in the early parts of the game, and when Volt charged up towards the end, it just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough time to make that one stock into a lifeline.
Yeah, I agree, and I think part of it almost feels like week one hiccups, right? Because think back in that second game, there were 2 or 3 limit usages from Volt that just seemed questionable, like the up B from ledge, the blade beam there were a few blade beams that missed, and it just kind of felt like Volt at times was grasping at straws, trying to find something to turn the momentum around, and AIV just did a very good job of kind of holding his ground and playing his game.
Yeah, and now with that, I don't believe that Hawaii can do it any longer. They've definitely set themselves up, though, as a team to be feared. And not just because of the ocean in between them and their opponents, but because they are going toe-to-toe with University of Colorado and beating some of their swingers, you know? Like, the heavy hitters are going down.
Yeah, this is not as much emphasis as there is on Colorado this year. Hawaii kind of proved that, hey, these heavy hitters, they are not hitting as heavily as before. I mean, we've seen Colorado just, their margin of victory for certain games was, plus 20 points. And that is still possible here if this next set is a blowout. But that's not a high probability. And we're used to Colorado putting up, 20 plus points a week. And so for Hawaii to limit them to this number 4 sets in is a good sign for them, because it shows, hey, Hawaii is here to play in a very, very tough conference. So do not sleep on either of these teams.
Yeah, not at all. As now we're looking at the anchors coming in. Though, again, they might not be anchors. It's tough to tell. This is not a traditional crew battle format, so sometimes you can send in the anchor for an early lead. Sometimes the middle of the pack, pick-me-up, I suppose, as we might have seen earlier. But it's going to be Ice versus Omnimom. And that's an interesting matchup. I remember Ice from last year vaguely, but
yeah,
I can't say if they are the anchor.
Ice anchored a few times, a handful of times last year for Colorado, but he was often in games where Colorado was not only ahead, but they had the win secured. So in a situation like this where they just tried to hold off tried to extend that point differential. And Omnimom for Hawaii is a name I also don't recognize. So we're going to make the assumption that this is their first appearance on the EGF. So no pressure on them because of the current score line, but we get to see what they bring to the table here.
Yeah, and I am kind of curious what they're bringing to the table. They had said that they were very excited to face Colorado. Like, that was one of the big teams that they had listed as, we want to fight them. And I think that prep time definitely shows. University of Hawaii, they said they actually have an analyst for their esports team this time. So, obviously, a lot of preparation has gone into this, and that's shown in these individual matchups. But then they get down to these last stock, let's hit situations. And in the scramble, the clutch factor that University of Hawaii has that you can't really teach, that is coming out big.
Yeah, it's being shown here. And that's what made Colorado so threatening last year, was that there were a ton of last stock scenarios that Colorado was able to clutch out. I remember Xanda Panda, who is not in this current lineup for Colorado, was a huge factor in their season last year. That Byleth player was able to win numerous sets. Now, he wasn't winning them by huge blowouts, but just winning your set is so important because it gets you that extra extension of points. It gets you those extra bonus points, and it puts the pressure on the next group. And so to lose a player like that and have the rest of the team step up the way they did, it's a massive improvement for Colorado, and it's what makes them so scary. But you're talking about that last hit factor. It's like you said, that's what Hawaii needs to work on. They need to find that extra gear, that next level, that gear shift, just to keep pace with teams like Colorado, like DePaul, like Mississippi State that we saw last year, have that kind of X factor.
Of course. And we're going to be able to see if Omnimom can maybe bring a little of that to the table going up against Ice, or if Ice is just going to ice him out. As well, like you said, even if you're not winning big, you're not losing. And not losing is all University of Colorado has to do here. Though, again, I think this is a match that is technically already over. But either way, getting that 13-14, if it were feasible, that would definitely make a statement and make University of Colorado look both ways before they cross the Atlantic or Pacific next time. And Omnimom's a Mii Brawler, it appears. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure what our rules about Mii Brawler were. I was a little worried.
So, interestingly enough, Ice rocking the Dark Pit. We saw Dark Pit a couple of times last year, and Ice was certainly one of the more successful Dark Pits from last year. But Mii Brawler, this character, I always think the Mii fighters are interesting because you have those multiple moves that you can use or at your disposal on the menu screen. So it takes a minute to really figure out what the moveset of each Mii fighter is. But you can see that Flip Kick is on the board for Omnimom, as they do have Ice off stage, but Ice is able to get back here with that roll.
Some nice pressuring of the shield right there. And again, every time Ice gets a little too comfortable in the shield, they just get grabbed and suplexed, and sooner or later that's going to be a kill.
Yeah, and Dark Pit, well, here you're going to be off stage, but that electroshock, that was actually good use. I like that. Omnimom couldn't go off for the edge guard, and you get a little bit of armor too, a little bit of damage. Omnimom now at kill percent, and that's going to be a great catch by Ice on the ledge, catching the Mii Brawler, and has the early lead.
Literally caught Omnimom slipping right there. And, well, you hang on the ledge too long, it's gonna hurt, as now Ice is in that exact same situation, and Omnimom just couldn't quite pull the trigger to get the punish, get the kill. And now they're being juggled around. It's just these, again, little taps, but Ice's movement right now is making it so far hard for Omnimom to commit to anything.
Yeah, and Omnimom, ooh, that's gonna get the kill. That is a that is a move that is surprisingly good. It doesn't look very threatening at first, but it has the knockback of Bayonetta down air maybe better, especially with all those multi-hits.
Of course. And now, have Omnimum at ledge again. The ledge trapping is where Ice has gotten a lot of their mileage in the past. See? Omnimum retaking center stage and doing these really committal options and then getting away with the dash tag thanks to the low end lag. See if Ice is able to adapt to that sooner, if they're just going to keep getting caught by these like upbeats and such, which Omnimum is growing increasingly fond of.
Good angle on that upbeat too to get back to stage, and Omnimum making great use of that upbeat, and at some point there's got to be a mix-up here. That jab is going to be good for some extra damage on Ice, but it feels like Ice has been kept to the corner for most of this match.
That rapid jab again. If something hits your shield 11 times in a row, you get a free invulnerable roll out of shield. So when you're getting pressured like that, you gotta be careful. I think the number is actually way higher, and my producer will probably yell at me after stream, but either way, still kind of rough. Or maybe I can yell at my producer. Maybe that's what I can do. As we will be getting back into the match, hopefully at some point. It may end up be over by the time we get back in there, but don't worry about that. Again, even though that was a good match, University of Hawaii had already lost, the University of Colorado taking the W, but that match was for honor right there, and Omnimum seemed to be putting up a pretty good fight. We'll see more of that fight going in soon enough.
Yeah, no, and Ice, again, Ice is a player who's been around this league. He was around last season, and he had a lot of success. So for Omnimum to come in here and really give him a run for their money is a very good sign. And remember, Hawaii was a team that last year, they were, wild card, barely playoff level. They just snuck in the last week, had to clutch out 2 or 3 wins, and they were able to get it done. And so for them to come in here against one of the big guns, especially in their own conference, this is conference play. That means these are playoff valued games. These are going to decide seeding 20 weeks down the line. To give Colorado a run for their money is, I think, a very good place to start their season at.
Yeah, and I'm excited with what this means for Hawaii's future, especially as they keeping it close. Again, they kept it close with everyone. It wasn't like they just beat Katsuji and then sort of just like muddled through everyone else. They, for the most part, have been keeping it very, very tight. And having a roster that is not carried by one single person is huge. So huge. I really do think having that depth is going to be the difference maker for them.
Yeah, it really is. A fun note from last year, when these two teams played once last year, and they played way back at the start of the season, it was mid-October. The score of that game was 16-8. And so it's a very similar score line to this year's matchup, but Hawaii a lot closer, it feels like, now that they've sort of mitigated the amount of points that Colorado has gotten, and they get that 2 points for the win Omnimum gets here in game 1.
Yeah. Now that is very crucial right there, and that means Omnimum might actually be able to get them to the double digits. I mean, if they win this next one, that's honestly a very respectable scoreline. That's pretty much the scoreline. We were talking about how close it was against St. John's and William Mary. That's pretty much what University of Colorado and University of Hawaii will end on. And we talked about how much of a statement St. John's win was. University of Hawaii, they want to make that statement too, give them the loudspeaker.
Yeah, and we'll have to see as we get ready for game number 2 what the game plan is. I don't think Ice has any pocket picks, but if he does, now might be the time to try them out. If he falls 2 stocks short against Omnimom here with the Dark Pit, and you have that win secured. If there was ever a time to experiment, it feels like now is that time.
Yeah, you had talked about the Dark Pit and how you had seen Ice get a little more mileage than other characters. Does Ice have any other picks up their sleeve that you've seen them pull out?
Not to my knowledge. But yeah, most of Colorado, even from last year, we saw a lot of these players. It was no pocket picks, just straight characters like AIV. I think exclusively played Ike. Xanda Panda was on the roster last year, exclusively played Byleth. Ice is exclusively played Dark Pit, to my knowledge. So it doesn't feel like, it feels like, you get what you get at Colorado for, face value. But, if, like I said, if ever there was a time to experiment, maybe now is that time against the Mii Brawler, who now you kind of know that move set. Now you know what type of fight you're expecting. Colorado is no stranger to experimentation, I guess. Well, they are strangers to experimentation. Could be a curveball to throw week 1.
Yeah, or maybe you don't want to give up all your cards too quickly. That is another factor to consider when you've already won. I don't think Ice is sandbagging. I think Ice was putting up a very good fight from what we saw of it. So we'll get to see if they are continuing that now, or if Omnimom is able to close this out and get some points on the board for Omnimom. Again, I thank you all in the audience for your patience. We are just doing our best to get back into the game as soon as possible, get the stages selected. I think we should be in there soon enough. Just double checking now. But yeah, just gonna be a couple more. All right, so it may actually be a slightly longer break than I was expecting from what I am reading right here, but that's just fine. We're still here, and you know what? Honestly, let's take a quick look at the schedule and just recap everything we've seen today, just so you all have an idea of what happened on the first day of EGF.
Yeah, as we pull up that schedule, you see we had Maris and Niagara, the MAC battle for the start of this stream, and it was Maris, the Red Foxes, all over the Purple Eagles. A dominating performance with a final score of 31 to nothing, pitching a shutout. And then Seton Hall versus George Washington was another huge.
We are actually in the game now. I know you're looking at the score sheets, but hey, you got to roll with the punches. And,
My apologies.
That's what I was trying to do after taking a slight beating to Omnimom previously. Now trying to roll with the punches and figure out a different way to approach this character.
Yeah, my apologies for the misclick on the screen, but something I'm looking forward to seeing here is Ice has a little bit of an early advantage. One of Ice's biggest threats last year was his ability to find some combos with this character. Now, Pitt has a lot of, with that Nair, that multi-hit can be like the obvious combo starter. But we were able to see some fun extensions, things like down tilt into forward air and things of that nature. So that's what I'm really looking for here in game number 2. Can they find more of those combo starters and get a little bit more percent onto this Mii Brawler?
But in terms of Omnimom, the way Omnimom is avoiding that is they're mixing up these fast fall, empty hop, short hop, full hops, but they're all empty hops for the most part until they're ready to land. And it almost reminds me of Fox, the way you're abusing that incredibly quick speed to just trip up your opponent. And they are eventually going to get tripped up themselves right there, eating that back air, but it's so tricky to track them down and get that initial combo starter hit.
And especially if you add in something like kickflip on top of that, nice mix up there to get kickflipped behind Dark Pit. And able to clean up that stock. So stock's back to even. And again, it just feels like you said, Ice is really struggling to track down this Mii Brawler.
There that is. You're gonna get up the percent with that command grab. And again, it's just another option that Ice has to respect when they're trying to pick their own movement. And it's a little slow. I'm pretty sure it is reactable even on Wi-Fi, but if you're not expecting it, you're not gonna catch it. Is they're not able to quite hit Omnimom on ledge from that spot on stage, and they're gonna get punished with the up B, yes, for daring to touch the shield. Landing with the shields gives them a little bit of protection, but it's not quite enough, as now that is meaty. Right at the end of the Super Armor 2, right as the hit was about to come out.
That was well done by Omnimom. Like you said, great job spacing that down air. And although you don't get the spike, you still get the stock for it. And Ice, now he is in a pit right now. And that's not just because he's playing the character. It's because he is down a full stock here. And although he's got Mii Brawler at kill percent, like you said, Omnimom just evasiveness everywhere. Cannot find a way to track this Mii Brawler down.
Yeah, and you can't juggle him, which is one of Pit's strongest attributes due to the long-lasting up air because of that flip jump. It's, again, not quite the same as Zero Suit Samus, but it's still that good. Not following through with the up air, though, actually gets you punished pretty hard. But the up B off the stage does give Omnimom a slight opening. They're looking for a command grab now. They haven't done that in a while, and that's a nice option. What they're not going to quite kill, though. Yeah, there's that command grab, just evening up the percent just a little bit, getting Ice closer and closer gradually to the kill percent that Omnimom is fishing for.
183 is just so much percent. We don't see a lot of characters live to that long, but the dash attack from Ice will clean up that stock. So last stock scenario here in game 2. Remember, great string by Ice, and he needs it too, because if he does not win this match, this set is overdone and dusted, and Hawaii will be back on the board.
And that wasn't just a parry. He flew up and he still got the parry punish. Omnimom with the awareness right there. Going for the command grab, but that up B could be punished right there. Up smash on platform though. Gonna get you dash attack. Omnimom now. Playing under this platform, playing carefully, but dash attack, the burst option from Ice is gonna catch them. They're really fishing for this up B out of shield. They want it so bad. They want Ice off stage so they can get the punish, but that shield's getting awfully low. Now, you set them off. You've got them on ledge. They try to go for the read with that neutral B. Not quite enough yet. And the neutral B again, fishing for that. And I think Ice knows at this point. They try and get the drag down with an air, but the back air to shield is enough to try and keep Ice in check. Just one read. It's all they need. They'd read the roll away, but they couldn't quite get the punish because that Omnimom is now off stage. Are we going to a game 3? It's looking likely, but Ice not dragging this yet. Finally catching them, going all the way up with the up B and sending us to one final game to cap off the night.
And I think, honestly, that might be the first up air Ice was able to land that game. He had really struggled. Like you said, when you can take away one of the biggest aspects of a character, like Pit can do with his ability to juggle, when you can take that aspect away, it makes the matchup so much more difficult. And right there, finally landing that up air was so important for Ice, because you could tell he was hunting for that kill move. Look at all the down smashes he was throwing out in the past 30 seconds. He was looking for a way to clean up this stock, and Omnimom just fell a little bit too prey to it.
Yeah, definitely did. And I don't really even know what Omnimom has to change, because it was Ice who came alive with their movement that just wasn't falling for the same things that they did before. I feel like Omnimom could mix in a couple more grabs, just a couple more options that make shielding a little less safe and be a little less obvious with how you're fishing for the kill options. Because towards the end there, it's like, what does Omnimom want? You want someone to touch your shield so you can up B. That's the Wi-Fi special right there.
Mhm.
and they can't let him get away with that.
The other interesting note, I think you see a lot of pits and dark pits use that side B on stage to either a pressure or go for a kill. Even when and it I only made note of it because it was right when Omnimom's shield was low. I said, oh, that side B might be able to break that shield. But the other thing that makes it interesting is that Ice never used it on stage, not once. He exclusively used it to recover, even after Omnimom punished it on the second stock. So it's something to keep note of throughout game number 3's Pit. Finding that kill move is important to their kit, and side B is a good use of that. But he seems to have taken that off the board.
Yeah, it can definitely be punishable with excess shielding, which Omnimom did seem to be partial to. But you can never be too sure. You can never be too careful. And there's always a chance to do a mix-up, especially online. And going into this game 3, I think that's there. One thing I do wonder about is I saw Omnimom keep trying to go for a neutral special, which is that rapid jab kill move, to punish the side B. And I'm wondering if that is something that like the analysts figured out, that you can punish that with the neutral special, because Omnimom was going for that again and again and again, and Ice was just avoiding it. Like, I don't even know what that interaction is.
Yeah, I'm curious about it as well. I do remember him using it, especially on the high recovery too. But either way, running it back to PS2 here for the final set of the match here. And Ice off to a big early lead here, 68%, and has not been touched this stock.
Again, the big issue has been closing these stocks. So if they're able to get it right here, right now, get out of the corner, crucially, that could be big. Oh, going very deep right there and getting the spike right there, the reversal. Oh, very nice right there. That side B being so incredibly exploited.
And that's something we really didn't see a lot of, as Omnimom will fall there just a little too short, not enough drift in that side B to get back to stage. But I wonder if Ice is exclusively using this side B to recover so that there's an active hitbox so he won't get spiked. But either way, Omnimom finding that spike, finding a little bit momentum here, and Ice down here on his second stock.
I gotta say, Omnimom has the best edge guarding we have seen all night. It feels, I know Pit is a pretty easy character to edge guard, like when you, comparatively to other people in the cast.
Right.
But it's still, Omnimom has been getting the better of them at ledge so many times. Like, most times you see people just opt for ledge trapping on Wi-Fi. Not Omnimom.
And because of it, you've got that percent lead, and Ice, I mean, at this point, sitting at kill percent too, and Omnimom's got plenty of kill power in their kit.
And now, gonna be caught by that side B. Sen is racking up. And you can see, just shielding, waiting for the up B punish. Ice is so aware of it. Just doing safe things on shield and punishing the up B. Omnimom needs to find another way to get these kills.
Ice got a down tilt there and then did not follow up. He waited to see what Omnimom would do out of it. So I think he's made note of that. And the next time he goes for it, I think he's looking for a flip kick.
There, and now, one is grabbed, sent up the side. And up and back, and there. That's a kill. Alrighty, Omnimom, after a very strong start and getting them all the way to last hit, last stock, on the brink of getting reversed.
It has to find a way to take this stock, to find a way back into this match, and has Pit at kill percent. They just need another strong hit of something. That up B, though, very stale it feels like, and Ice is starting to catch on and now got pressure, but up smash out of shield. Great stuff to Omnimom, and now it's a last stock scenario.
Yeah, based on the amazing strings we've seen these people get, this could be either one of them, as Omnimom instantly evens up the percents and has Ice on the ledge, and they catch him with the up B again. Off stage, do they have a jump? Yeah, they do, but they're forced to opt with the up B. Not going to punish. I don't think Omnimom was quite ready for that option yet. As now, And careful, playing cautious. But
The arrows are something that Ice, I think, as the set has gone on, has used more of, but that side B's gonna get punished. And I think those arrows, really, Me Brawler does not have a clean answer other than jumping and flip kicking, which I think Ice is starting to catch up onto.
yeah, those full empty hops that I mentioned earlier, they're very good in the beginning, but oh, that's going to be a punish. Just a jab for the time being, but it puts him in a tech situation. Gotta misread the tech roll, though. Gives Omnimom another chance at neutral, falling down hard and fast, but is it enough? Going for the dash tech, sending Ice off stage. This could be it. Looking for the edge guard situation, but Omnimom playing a little more cautious now. At ledge, they managed to catch the up B. Now they have Ice stage without resources again, but they get back on. The edge cancel side B?
That was nice. That was clean. Oh, is that going to be it?
No, I thought it was too stale. I thought Ice lived, but Omnimom gets another win for the University of Hawaii. Gets their team into the double digits, I believe. And with that, wraps up our series. It is still going to be the University of Hawaii winning this, or Colorado winning this 15-10. But University of Hawaii, they came swinging, and they put on an amazing showcase going into the latter half, or not even latter half, latter part, the future games in general of EGF.
Yeah, absolutely. And think of it this way: this in 5 sets, the set split was 3-2 in Colorado's favor. That's all it really was. If that one set is a little bit closer, or one set is a little bit more dominant one way or the other, Hawaii is, flipping the table on Colorado. But it shows that from way back when they played them in last October, a year ago, it shows that Hawaii is getting closer, and that Colorado, for a team that was so dominant last year, maybe not so much this year, the competition has gotten a lot closer.
Yeah, and to get a deeper insight into how that competition is really ramping up and how Colorado feels about having that target on their back, we are going to soon get into a quick interview with them. So as we get that ready, we're going to go for a little break. When we come back, we will wrap up the night with a little bit of an interview with the University of Colorado representative. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon enough. Welcome back, everybody, to EGFC Season 3, the first day, and we are here with AIV after they had won over the University of Hawaii. How you doing, AIV?
I'm doing well. Thank y'all for having me.
Of course, and you in particular, I do have to ask, because you had some explosive second stocks in your matches. So I've got to ask, like, how do you, like, do you think of yourself as a player who goes for, like, cheeky early kills a lot, or do you just take what's given to you?
I mean, given the chance for cheeky early kills, I'm not one to pass them down by any means. You guys saw I went for a Nair to up B that didn't quite work out in my favor. Cost me one of my stocks, but yeah, I don't necessarily aim for them as a game plan. I'd say.
Of course. Gotta be consistent.
Sorry. Yeah, no, that was it. One of the questions I was going to ask was, you guys were one of the top dogs of last year. I mean, finishing inside top 8 of the EGF. What are the expectations? I feel, or what are your expectations for you and your team coming into year 3 here?
Well, everybody's going to have an adjustment period. I think we saw today we're not playing exactly how we want to play. But as we get used to the online format and EGF again, I expect that this team is going to do very well this year. I want us to place in the top 4, and I would not be surprised if we got a shot at top 1.
Nice. It's always good to hear that kind of confidence. And I've got to ask, so obviously I could just look at the rankings, but in your opinion, who are the teams that you have your sights set on? You're like, okay, crosshairs on them, target on their back, we're going to beat them. Like, who are your goals this year?
Well, notably, we play Mississippi State 3 times in the regular season. So we better have a target on them, or else we're gonna have some trouble. Man. Yeah, the first of those is actually next week. So I'll be spending this week really in looking at the film from today, trying to see what I can gather on that team.
It's like an artificially constructed rivalry right there.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about that matchup. You get the defending champs next week. And so I guess what is the kind of pre-game plan to go into a match like that? Is there any sort of like pre-game ritual you do to get ready for a game, or is it just something like studying film? What is the, I guess, preparation for the next week?
Well, I, as the kind of coach, manager, whatever role I am on this team, I'll be studying film. I'll be talking to players about what they can improve from this week. The players too put in a lot of work. We have weekly practices, and then we do a lot of warm up before games. So here in Colorado, this game today was at 7:30. We showed up at 6 to start warming up for it.
Hey, nice. It's good to hear about that work ethic, and I'm really glad to hear that you're putting so much time into the game, into EGF, and I wish you best of luck on what sounds like it's going to be a rocky season coming up.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I think it'll be good for us. But thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. And with that final interview, we are going to be closing out the night. Thank you all for watching EGFC tonight. If you like what you saw, make sure you follow all of the EGF Twitter, Instagram, all of that jazz. You can look right below in the stream description. And of course, check out our amazing talent. We got Soy right here. At SoySun J Sport. You can check out that Twitter right here. And of course, myself, Miles GG on Twitter. We always appreciate the support, and we always really appreciate it. And of course, never forget the production House of 30,000 running everything for EGFC spectacularly. They do an amazing job, and pay them some mind. Check out Zeno. Check out every other production they're on. It's fantastic. But with that, I have been Miles, joined by Soy. This has been EGFC. See you all next week.